Welcome to the Grey Pill Podcast, where truth's unveiled, exploring the depths beyond what is retail. Conspiracies, esoteric knowledge so enthralling. Open up your mind, let's dive into the sprawling. Oh yeah. Grey Pill awaken, question what you know. Peeling back the layers, let your curiosity grow. Uncover hidden realities, break the mold. Come take the journey, let your mind unfold.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Greypilled Podcast. I am your host, Jules. What's going on, guys? It's Monday night. A funny thing that I did, we did a stream last night, me and that nice guy, and for some reason, I named it Saturday Night Stream and didn't realize until this morning. So, anyway, I almost forgot today was Monday. It feels like a Sunday. Hope everybody had a good MLK day. Good day off work, I guess. Yeah, I was wanting to go live. I had a few people tell me to go live. They demanded me to go live. Kind of held me hostage in a way, which is okay. When no one's streaming, I will be here to stream, unless, of course, I'm busy with the kids. And my daughter happens to be at my mother-in-law's house tonight. So son's asleep, wife's going to bed. I'm going to hang out with y'all for a little bit. The inauguration was today. The inauguration. Is it too dark in here? How's that light behind me? I decided to go live to X at the last minute. I said, fuck it. We'll let them get in on it. So we've been talking about, well, I've been hearing people talk about and bring up to me this theory of an Osirian ritual that happens under the White House on Inauguration Day. And being that I deep dive into Osiris quite often, I thought it would only be right for me to come on and maybe try to dissect that theory a little bit, you know? So go ahead. We'll just go ahead and start with like a basic, and this will take 2 minutes. I say it'll take 2 minutes, but so are you kidding me? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I need to start making folders for my desktop. Sorry, picture. All right. So a little bit about Osiris. Most people know him as the god of fertility and resurrection, but his name, he has another name that's related to the planet Sirius. If you want to look at it, another dimension called Sirius. All right, I've thrown that theory out there that voice is cracked. That Nibiru is may just be another dimension. A lot of these places, I mean, it depends on what globe model or how you view where we live or the reality in which we live in. Okay, I'm going to quit just talking. I'm going to pull this up. Let's see. Give me a second. Let's see how many people. I got 42 people watching. That's good for a Martin Luther King night. Okay. That's not. All right. But y'all were asking me to do this, so. And I planned on doing it, but why not now? It's a good idea. This is a pretty dope picture. So, Osiris, Asar is so Asar means scorcher, and it represents the planet Sirius. That's why you have Osiris. The other one more than likely stemming from Orion. So Osiris, yeah, the Egyptian god who represents the afterlife. Well, not, that was more Anubis. Well, I guess because of the rebirth, the resurrection, fertility, Lord of the underworld, Osiris was a ruler of the afterlife and the judge of the dead. That's not right. Who the fuck wrote that? AI, you're dog shit. I try to get a good overview. I have notes, but I'm just gonna do like a little quick, rundown of this deity. But AI seems to be more retarded than I am. So he was the embodiment of a dead and resurrected king killed by his brother. You see that a lot in those old Egyptian Sumerian stories. They're all killing each other. They fucking hate each other. But so Osiris is this green guy right here, right? And you have your two eyes, the eye of Ra and your eye of Horus. Notice how there's two pillars right here. Those are the Jed pillars? Those may be the Jed pillars. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody knows. So let's pull this up right here. So everybody's well, I've seen a couple people talking about this. The fact that during the inauguration, they are resurrecting Osiris back from the dead, and whoever takes on the job of the presidency then takes on that role of Osiris, I guess. But yeah, basically in the Sumerian stories, he is a son of Marduk or Ra, and the brother of Set. Now, when you get into the Osiris Isis story and then Horus, I believe his name is Horon when you read it in the Sumerian stories as well. And Horus is another one of those figures, just like Osiris, just like Mithras and all those stories of a virgin mother, because basically Isis takes the phallus. He's killed by his brother Set, and also in some of the stories in other cultures, well, particularly Sumeria, I know I end up they're literally fucking always right there with each other, clashing all the time. So it's kind of hard to bring up one without bringing up the other when you've looked into it. He's hanging out with Semyaza. Set is. And we all know Semyaza is a real bad dude. He's a bad dude, right? Not a good guy. Yeah, so when Set killed him, he chopped him up and buried his body across the Nile. Pretty sure it was all through the Nile. And she basically found his phallus, his penis, and used it to inseminate herself. Now, get into ancient alien theories, that could be like a test tube fucking with Osiris's semen in it, or his I don't know, his DNA, something like, because there's it said that Thoth was the one that performed this alchemical ritual, you could probably say. It's where alchemy came from, guys. And those emerald tablets, I know people say they're not real, but they are considered alchemical emerald tablets, so they could exist in the ether, and you would have to get like a download, right? Which we don't want to do. We don't want to do that. I'm good on connecting with Tahuti, Thoth. I don't know. The knowledge, of course, like the hermetic stuff is very you see it in a lot of other things. It's not all bad. Like I said, it really just depends on how you use this knowledge. But it's a slippery slope. So later on in Egypt, they would worship. There's Osirian mystery schools still, but they would do these rituals basically to invoke Osiris into the king or the pharaoh. And there's here. Ooh, I'm gonna pull this up. Ooh, more images. So yeah, you see him here with his staff. And dude, what's real weird is you see that staff in gang culture. We're not gonna get into that. But and then the other gang breaks it in half. And they're like graffiti, whatever. I'm pretty sure those are the Jed pillars. This picture is probably bigger. I can't tell what that is right there. Looks like some kind of flower. But yeah, this is him right here with his do-rag on because we was kangs. And well, he was green. And let's go ahead and get into this because I've talked about this a couple times on Elohim etymology. I talked about this on Nephilim Death Squad. He was green, right? And Ptah, being his father, had let's look that up. What did the Jed pillar represent? Pretty sure it represented like stability, everlasting stability. Jed. So Jedis, right, from Star Wars. And this is why Yoda is green. And this is why this dude looks like a tall Yoda. So Jed pillar. Let's look that Jed pillar up. The Jed pillar is a pillar-like symbol in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs that represent stability. I fucking knew it. I have a good memory. Endurance and rejuvenation. It is also associated with the gods Osiris and Ptah. So, let's go back to that image. Yeah, that's the Jed pillar. So I don't think that's Ptah. That may be Ptah. That may even be Ptah right there, and that be Osiris on the right. Maybe. If anything's different about him, it's his headdress. Ptah images. Yeah, Ptah looks a little different. So yeah, that's definitely 100% Osiris. Okay, so let's look at a couple of these posts that I found on X, guys. We learned about who Osiris was, what happened to him. I mean, you can find Osiris in almost every mystery school, and almost every what you would call secret society, or not so secret. They're really not so secret anymore. So let me click out of this. By Ptah. Okay, let me pull this post up. I was like, oh wow, other people are talking about this. I remember hearing about this some years ago. All right, guys, let's pull this post up. Navigating the lies. Shout out Navigating the Lies. I'm gonna pull this up for y'all. I saw this. I don't even think I've had a chance to read it, so we can learn together, everybody. In a non-gay way, of course. Maybe a little. All right. Found it. Got too much shit pulled up. It's pulled up twice. Why is it pulled up twice? Oh, here we go. Okay. So, let me, I guess I can't. Okay. Hopefully y'all can see this. Everybody can see this. All right. Good deal. What are the odds Trump is swearing in below the apotheosis of Washington inside the rotunda, the belly of Isis? Apotheosis means deification. The rotunda is also where 33-degree attempt to resurrect the seed of Osiris during president inaugurations. This all screams pagan ritual. Trump moves inauguration inside. Vast majority of ticketed guests can't attend. Oh, dude. So what did they say about the belly of Isis? Hold on. And Isis really being his sister wife. You see that with Enki and Enlil too. They're both married and fucking their sister, Ninmah, Ninersag. And you also see it with Zeus and Hera. And that could just be like symbolic of masculine and feminine, you know. That George Washington in heaven, ascending to heaven. Damn, dude. You got angels with fucking that's idolatrous as fuck. Yo, with the pentagrams all over the fucking ceiling. Y'all see it? I mean, I don't know. Call me crazy, but maybe our leaders aren't all they seem to be. Hold on. So this is at the top of where he was. Yeah, this is undoubtedly like this is a ritual. It has to be because the first president, right? And look, he's doing the fucking. Oh no, what just happened? Is that a 5-ish ad? Okay, let's look at this a little closer. So you got a rainbow in there. I guess that's kind of cool. Whatever. The gays took that from us. You got the eagle in there. Zeus symbolism. Fucking Phoenix symbolism. All that shit. George Washington, the first Freemason, first president. Oh, you got Poseidon over there too, dude. What? Oh, those are all gods. Oh, wow. Is that Apollo? Who the fuck is that? Demeter or somebody? This is fucked. Let's zoom out a little bit. Who you got over there? I don't know who that is. That looks like Heracles. Wow. So that's interesting. Let's zoom out. Oh shit, dude. This is a good find. E pluribus unum, meaning one out of many, many out of one. The Statue of Freedom is a composite of Athena, Hercules, Liberty, Minerva, and America. Wait, are Liberty and America deities? Canopy of the apotheosis of Washington. Many out of one, Washington deified, seated alongside the composite of Liberty, Bologna, and Victory, Fame. So I guess are those deities? Somebody let me know. I'm sure it's just an archetype or something, but who knows? That's that. So this is all happening up top. Is this just, I don't know, just serve at some kind of place where it's happened so many times that the energy's there if you do it maybe, I don't know, right time of year. There we go. All right. I think this is the last picture in that post. So that's describing. So that's it. That's very interesting. I hadn't even read that. That's beautiful. The art up there, that's dope. But yeah, that's all from that post. Let's see. I got another one right here I can find. Let me find it. Escanor posted it. Sir Escanor. He's pretty cool. I'll leave this right here so maybe I can zoom in a little bit on the picture. Pull this up for you guys. Too many tabs opened up. Okay. The Great Hypnotizer of America. The inauguration? Oh, that's just Osiris Risen cosplay for politicians. An ancient Egyptian ritual rebranded for modern clowns. Back in the day, it was all about resurrecting Osiris from the dead so pharaohs could pretend they were immortal gods. Yes, that's a great way to word that. Now, same deal, but the gods are Zionist and reality TV stars. He's not wrong. It's like Christmas for politicians, only instead of Santa and presents, we're getting a billionaire swearing on a Bible he's never read while selling out the country to Israel on live TV. No elves, just lobbyists. And forget freedom, we're getting tax cuts for Bezos. Yeah, dude, you saw Bezos and Zuckerberg and all those motherfuckers sitting together. I was like, damn. And then Barack Obama shows up by himself. Okay, so no elves, just lobbyists. And forget freedom, we're getting tax cuts for Bezos. Policies drafted by foreign interests and another round of trusty plan propaganda. Trusty plan, Goy. Set, Isis, Osiris, and Nephthys. Yes. Children of Nut, Heaven, and Geb, Earth. That would, that's the myth. But I don't know. I have other theories on that. But represent a lineage steeped in familial intermarriage, as Set married Nephthys and Isis married Osiris. Their names, Set, Isis, Osiris, and Nephthys, form Sion. Rearrange letters from all four names, and you get Hypnotizer, reflecting the control their mythology still exerts over minds today. Mary Osirismus, welcome to the ritual where your freedom burns and their power rises. That's kind of black-pilled, Escanor, but you're absolutely right. I can put the gray pill down and pick up a black one with you. That didn't sound good. Apparently, so this is it has something to do with invoking the deity, right? But they also do it in Hollywood a whole bunch. The Osiris Risen and the Osiris Slain. I don't know about the Isis mourning, but the Apophis. I don't know what the Apophis is. Who's Apophis? I don't know. Is that a swastika? Oh, dude, it makes a swazi in the Isis mourning. That's wild, dude. Y'all see that? You guys see it right here where my arrow is? That's wild, bro. Is that some real energy shift type move? What's that? Don't clip that. Did I do it right? I don't know. Let's watch this for a second. And if it sucks, we'll turn it off. And we'll get out of here on something good. Okay.
They're Einsteins. They had their Newtons. And these men needed to understand their existence, needed to understand the cosmos around them. But rather than be provided with the technology and science to do so, they used their genius and intelligence to search within. They employed another aspect of thinking which we ourselves have long forgotten. They employ the intuitive, inner, spiritual search.
Makes it better. There's like low music and the video is playing. Can you hear the video at the same time?
King may traverse the Milky Way, the winding waterway.
I'll turn up a little bit more.
Afterward, take your hand to the place where Orion is.
We're not watching the full hour, don't worry.
At the dawn of history, 2,500 years before Christ, an entire civilization gathered to build the greatest monuments on Earth. 13 million tons of solid rock.
Is this cool, guys?
Enough to
Do y'all
build the
like
city
this?
of London,
People on
or
X,
hold the
somebody
coastal
just say,
deserts.
like, yeah.
Why?
One person.
What vision drove this?
50 people. 48 people. Yo, you shared something in the Grapist chapter.
Scholars say they served as tombs for 3 dead pharaohs.
We're almost
Robert
an hour in.
Bauval,
I'll go an
British
hour and a
author
half.
and researcher, born in Alexandria, spent much of his life in the shadow of the Great Pyramids. He believes there is a far greater vision behind these pyramids. Over the last 20 years, he quested for that greater meaning, echoed in ancient whispers of stars, of myths, and the beginning as Egypt saw it. In the beginning, there was darkness and an ocean of chaos. From it emerged a mound,
90s
and on it
documentary
rose the
music.
sun, Ra. Then the Bennu bird, the phoenix, flew up, and its first cry set the world in motion.
Fucking Phoenix. Every single time. Dude. Yeah.
In that
We're
place,
doing a
later
fucking
stood
Phoenix
the holy
deep
city
dive
of
this week.
Heliopolis.
We're going to do
Around
like
the pillar,
2
crowned
esoteric
with the
book
holy
reviews. I've been
Benben,
reading.
symbol of that first mound of creation.
We're going to look at Initiates of the Flame, and we're going to look at this chapter, this little chapter
This
that
is
I never
all
did
that
on
remains
Phoenix.
of the city of Heliopolis, once the most holy of cities of the ancient world. In this desecrated pit was the
No, I
sacred
don't think this is
temple
Gnostic stuff.
of
Straight
the
up. I
sun,
think this
the
is
temple
just
of the phoenix.
the
And
Osiris,
here came the Greek scholars, Pythagoras, Plato,
the Osiris.
Solon, to fall at the feet
It's an
of the
Egyptian
great
deity.
Egyptian initiates.
Heliopolis was written with this hieroglyph.
I don't. Okay,
Pillar
so
with a
if
cross
you
on top.
didn't, if you weren't here earlier,
The ancient Egyptians
well,
called this
you heard me talk about
Inu, the city
the ritual
of the
that
pillar.
supposedly happened.
We know from ancient inscriptions that here
On
stood
inauguration,
ancient sacred pillar
under the White House.
long before
They're under the White House
construction of
because
the pyramid
there's
of Giza.
pictures supposedly of it excavated.
We
There's
know that also
rooms under
on
there.
top of this pillar
down.
was probably placed a very sacred relic
Maybe real, may not.
they called the benben. Now, the benben was shaped like a comb or a pyramid. This was the cross of ancient Egypt. This was the most holy of symbols.
Such a symbol still lies in Cairo Museum, the polished capstone of a pyramid.
Well, yeah, screwed up. Pagan. Anything pre.
The high priests of Heliopolis were second only to the pharaohs. They were renowned as builders, magicians, healers, and astronomers. One is known by name, Imhotep, who would later be venerated by the Greeks as Asclepios, the father of medicine. But he is also mentioned for his knowledge of the stars and as the ground layer of the Great Pyramids. Did knowledge of the stars come into their building?
Scholars say that the ancient Egyptians did not have a high knowledge of astronomy, but here is evidence of that fascination and sophisticated knowledge of the sky. Look at the zodiac constellation.
They're drawing
Leo,
constellations and shit. Oh my.
Taurus, Pisces, and here the constellation of Orion and the star Sirius.
Incredible, though. Like that.
Many civilizations give a special place to the constellation of Orion. Before the horns of Taurus, he stands as the great hunter with his belt of 3 stars. To the Egyptians, he was Osiris, god of afterlife, and he is closely linked to the pyramids. Bauval was to find out how close.
Everything here attests to a grand unified plan, a master plan. And yet there's something very perplexing about this plan. We have 3 pyramids, 2 of which are of almost identical size and are set along a diagonal line. And yet here's the curious thing. The 3rd pyramid is much smaller and is offset to the left of this diagonal line.
Christ,
Why?
but
What were
I
the
don't know.
pyramid
I'm
builders trying to do?
comfortable enough, or I've, you know,
The problem had been
I've
nagging
been-
me for years.
and not
And on a
get
night like this,
distracted by
sitting in
it.
the desert with a friend of mine,
Let
he
us
was telling
pray
me
in
how the
any
star
way
Sirius
spiritually.
would rise.
I don't
And
know.
then he pointed
I find
in
this
the
stuff
sky and
fascinating.
showed me the belt of Orion right above.
I'm also fucking
And
insane.
he said, you notice how the 3
They're-
stars run in a row, but at the top star, the smaller star, is slightly offset to the left. And suddenly I had it.
I'm very far from being like a perfect Christian dude or like anything. Try, but like, you know.
Bauval knew 2 other pyramids nearby also carried star names, and what he saw was stunning. Orion, the god Osiris, stood in heaven as on Earth. But something didn't fit. The Egyptians saw the Nile as the Milky Way, and evidently the pyramids as Orion. But in the Pyramid Age, Milky Way and Orion stood differently in relation to each other.
The thing about the Egyptian mysteries that's the craziest to me is this is the Egyptian Book of the Dead. The soul traveling like through the Milky Way, like I'm pretty sure what they're, dude. It's just it's wild to me. Now, I don't know where that would take you. Probably Saturn or some shit. I don't know. That's something I should read or get into, maybe. Okay, let's get back to this because this is actually pretty...
And he found the computer was looking at the wrong epoch.
Now, in order to get a perfect match with the pyramids on the ground, the sky needs to be rotated slightly anti-clockwise. This means going back in time.
Okay.
3000 BC.
Perfect.
4000 BC.
That's
5000 BC.
That's exactly
the position of the star changes through
That's how I
time through a
feel.
phenomenon of precession. The Earth not only turns each day, as with a giant top, its axis also makes a slow wobble every 26,000.
Okay, supposedly, right? I'm a Hollow Earth guy, but that doesn't mean I don't believe that fucking, I don't know. May not be what we're seeing out there. It's definitely not what they're showing us, right? But yeah, no, that's what I came to realize, Jay Brooks, is that basically, yeah, whatever relationship I have, with Christ, it definitely gets stronger due to, I don't know, diving into the occult or some esoteric stuff, even like a lot of conspiracies and true crime stuff as well. Everything, it all leads you somewhere. In this case, to Christ. I know, screwed up. It's all fake and gay, bro. Yeah. That's what I think. It's like diving into anything. If you're aligned in the proper way, and it won't bring you down, bring your vibration down. It sounds gay, but whatever. I don't know, man. I just think you have to have some kind of discernment, but some people shouldn't. Some people shouldn't dive into any of this type of shit that we get into on this show. But everyone has their own. They make their own choices. They have their own free will. So.
Years. On Earth, this makes the star seem go slowly up and down throughout millennia.
7,000, 8,000, 9, 10.
It's absolutely amazing.
Well, the whole arrangement freezes the time of 10,500 BC.
The Milky Way now fitted precisely as the Nile. The builders were pointing to a distant past when Orion rose for its slow ascent through heavens, their mythical first time when the gods ruled and everything began. Another enigma. In the Great Pyramid, strange narrow shafts point upward. For ventilation, science suggested.
There's no way these could have been ventilation shafts. The detail of design is far too complicated.
Yeah.
They rise on the incline all the way out of the pyramid. They must have had a much higher purpose.
So there's theories of the pyramids being like charger ports, right? Or for energy, electricity. And so, I don't know, maybe they put some type of mineral in there, crystal or something, whatever, to charge it up. I don't know, man.
Astronomers had already found that these shafts were directed to the Small Dipper and Alpha Draconis, the polar star of early antiquity.
Now, they obviously didn't go to all this trouble just for fun. To the ancient Egyptian, Orion was Osiris, the high god of resurrection. Now, this is a reconstruction of the sky in 2500 BC. And let's see what happens to Orion's belt as it crosses the north-south line.
The shaft from the king's chamber pointed at Orion, the god Osiris.
Now, to the left of Orion, and here is the star Sirius. To the ancient Egyptians, it was the star of Isis, the consort of Osiris. And I was amazed to discover
dude.
this.
Yeah, all of them.
Oval discovered that the last shaft pointed at Sirius, star of the goddess Isis. The ancient Egyptians were making pathways to their Isis and Osiris, their gods of afterlife and resurrection, and gods from their beginning.
The Egyptians emphatically believed in a golden age when the gods ruled the earth. 4 children came out of the womb of the sky goddess. 4 human-shaped children. 2 of which were Isis and Osiris. And they established a kingdom of the first time. They called it Zep-Tepi. This was a golden age when the gods ruled the earth and brought knowledge and civilization. The balance between the cosmos and the earth was perfect, and happiness ruled the land.
A golden time in which Osiris ruled. But Seth, his brother, grew jealous, betrayed and killed Osiris.
Oh shit!
The world fell prey to chaos.
The anteater.
Seth cut up the body of Osiris and hid each of its 14 pieces. Blood and darkness came over Egypt.
14 pieces. She found the dick. It was still hard.
But Isis, faithful consort of Osiris,
The golden
searched every
shaft.
corner of the land, gathered the parts of her beloved, and bound them in linen.
However, she could not find the phallus, and she fabricated a golden phallus from which she impregnated herself with the seed of Osiris and bore a son, the son Horus, the divine child. It is Horus that became the first established man-god, first pharaoh to rule Egypt, and all pharaohs that followed believe themselves to be reincarnated entities of Horus.
Halls of Amente shit. Shit.
Horus with the falcon head avenged his father, conquered evil, and slew Seth. And Isis and Osiris, reincarnated in heaven where both stand as rulers of the night and afterlife.
Yeah, just
Osiris
like
is
the Osiris
Orion,
rising, you have
Isis
the
is the
Horus
star Sirius.
rising. The horizon, right?
One cannot overemphasize the importance of the star Sirius.
Sirius,
was
fucking shit.
Isis,
Listen,
the life-giving force of Egypt. The star performs a very, very specific cycle. It is not only the brightest star in the northern hemisphere, the whole
Asar,
sky.
Scorcher,
It wasn't because the star was beautiful and brilliant that the Egyptian venerated.
brightest star,
It would
right? That means
disappear.
it's burning.
Orion
That's what
Ansys
Asar
disappeared
meant,
for a
really,
period
the
of 70
Scorcher.
days.
Asar being
And
the
this is
Sumerian
significant
name
because
for
the period of
Osiris.
70 days
For people coming in
was
late.
also the period of embalmment. When they would
Okay to come
mummify a
late.
king, they would take 70 days to perform the ritual. And therefore it's clear that they associated it to the disappearance of the stars for 70 days. 70 days they waited in mourning and in expectation and in fear that the star would not reappear and Egypt would not be reborn again. But then on a magical day that occurred at the summer solstice, 70 days later, the star would pop over the eastern horizon this time at dawn, just a few seconds before sunrise. And this sparkle, this spark of life, of the appearance of the star, was the greatest moment in the Egyptian cultic belief.
That's pretty fucking cool, dude.
For at that same moment, the river Nile swelled from monsoon rains in a distant, unknown south. The Nile floods brought new
Wouldn't
life to a
worship it,
parched
though.
land. For Egypt, this was the yearly rebirth, so crucial that it took it as the start of its new year.
If you knew nothing else, this was pre-Christian. I mean, what? I mean,
Junction of summer solstice sunrise, of the rebirth of Sirius.
wouldn't it be like God to you?
After this long invisibility and the flooding of the Nile was the great vision that the Egyptians
If you
had
didn't know what the
about
sun
the-
was, I mean, you know.
And they imagined their god Osiris in the sky,
And nighttime is
looking
terrifying,
down
especially
on
back
his
then,
creation,
I'm sure.
looking down on
No
Egypt,
electricity.
looking down at the rising of the star
And the creation
When
that
the
he
sun
sees
comes up,
is
it's like, oh
not
my
only the
God.
star
Yeah.
rising, but the rebirth of Egypt.
Like what he's
This
saying
spark
brings
of life
brings life.
was in their mind transferable
Ah.
to the goddess Isis giving birth to Horus.
After 70 days, the mummy was taken west to the land across the Nile, the Giza necropolis. As one crosses the Milky Way to
That's
Orion's
exactly what it
belt,
was.
where the pyramids stand
all
as
it
the gateway
is.
to Isis and
It's
Osiris,
one
gods
very
of life after
it's
death.
a portion of the Anunnaki that went to Egypt.
I'm taking you inside the Pyramid of Unas. Here are the oldest religious writings in history, the pyramid texts. The meaning
He
of
had
these
the
texts
entirety of
were nearly
Africa.
forgotten,
Right? He's like Yakub,
because
right?
Egyptologists saw in
The
them mainly
scientists.
a sun religion. But this isn't a religion
In the
of the
stories,
day and
they
the living.
create
This is a
different
religion
beings,
of the night and of the
but
dead.
they were all mostly like
These texts
Bigfoot.
repeatedly tell us that the king becomes a star in the kingdom of Osiris in the constellation of Orion. One of these texts says,
But then they made
"May you
direct
traverse
themselves.
the
So
winding waterway, the Milky Way, and may you go
I
to
don't know
the
if the
place
blacks are
where
the
Orion is."
Anunnaki.
Now, when a pharaoh died, his body was mummified and prepared like Osiris, and his soul was ready to ascend to the sky. But before this would happen, the dead king had to ensure
Yeah,
that
but then
the
when
power
like
of divine rule
Greece
was
and
passed
Rome
on to
come
the
around,
son, the living Horus.
well,
This would
it's
happen
more
in
so
a very
I don't know.
dramatic ceremony called the opening of the mouth, during which ceremonial
deity
tools
who
were
had
used
supremacy
to open the mouth
basically
of the mummy and bring it back to life.
let everybody be a
Then
god.
an artificial
And he was
phallus
their
was
adversary
placed
throughout
on
like
the mummy.
their
The dead
first
king
few
was
civilizations
directed
up until
towards the
Babylon.
star of Isis, the star Sirius. It was then that the seeding of the womb of the goddess took place.
He just show his dick.
His earthly mission fulfilled, and the dead king would depart to the sky.
That's all.
And in fact, what we have here
No, it's just these
is a
probably
reenactment
not all
of the
translated.
resurrection myth of Osiris, told in stellar terms.
But it's when you connect other stories to them, and it's all the
In
same.
ancient Egypt, this
same
was Rostam,
character,
entrance to the underworld,
entities.
kingdom of Osiris and gateway
Fucking
to
that's when
afterlife,
you know there's
a
something.
place where mystery reigns.
And the
Up until
etymology
today.
and symbolism and all that, it's like, okay,
So far, scientists
not everyone.
saw little more than tombs for 3 dead pharaohs, but the realization grows that this was much, much more. Deep in this shaft, Egypt's top archaeologist is excavating corridors and caves which bring the Osiris myth further alive.
This became a sacred place to the Egyptians. People wanted to be buried here, to be connected with this god Osiris. We are now 30 meters underneath the ground, between the Sphinx exactly and the second pyramid. We found remains of 4 pillars like this one. In between, there is water. Underneath the water, there is the sarcophagus. Above the sarcophagus was that lid. When I looked inside the sarcophagus, we didn't find
What's
anything.
up, man?
But why? He's not buried here. But symbolically, he's a spirit. His spirit is
I
here.
shouldn't be on here.
They
too
could
much.
know that this is the tomb of Osiris. And this really is a symbolic burial, a cenotaph for Osiris. And it's very unique. And it became legend later that many people will be having a small statuette made of wood and their erection in it, and they mummify this. And erection means resurrection, because Osiris is the god of resurrection.
I don't know him.
He was killed by the devil, Seth. But Isis cried her tear with the river Nile, and she restored his erection that she could not find, and she had the son from him, Horus the victorious, who conquered the devil. This myth built the Egyptian civilization. Without Isis, there is no river Nile. The river Nile gave fertility to the land. Without the river Nile, there is no Egypt. And also, the story tells us
the Nile
the devil
flowing
always
out of
has
Isis.
to be conquered.
Much more than tombs for dead pharaohs, this was the grandiose expression of a civilization with a cosmic vision that probed death and reached for resurrection
There we got
through
30
magical rites and
Rumble.
initiation.
Illuminati confirmed. We got 52 on X. 53.
The whole focus of the Egyptian cult,
Who
the
knows?
whole idea of
So-
the initiatory cult, of the mystical cult,
Hope
is
everybody's
to
enjoyed
learn
the show
how
tonight.
to perform this transfiguration and journey into the afterlife and become part of the Osirian afterlife kingdom. But the mummy in ancient Egypt was called Saho. To become a Saho is to become a mummy, but it's also to become a
Talking about mummies
spiritualized
now.
entity, to become Orion. The same way we say to join Christ or to become Christ-like after death.
Wow.
Are the Giza pyramids an attempt to reach beyond death? New insights gain
Think
ground.
of the comparison. It's not the same thing, obviously, but
They were an actual model on the ground
version of doing
the
that.
region of the sky through which your
Correct.
soul is expected to
that's
travel.
fascinating.
So they were a place of initiation, a place of preparation into the mystery of what
Graham
lies
Hancock's
beyond death.
gay, guys. I used to really like him.
At Giza
You're over
Plateau,
there,
there's many
Jack.
tunnels. Underneath the pyramid, there's tunnels. Giza Plateau was known as Neb Rastau. Rastau means cemetery, but literally it means the underground tunnels. The Giza Plateau was known in the New Kingdom by the name the place of Osiris. Giza is the place of the god Osiris, who's lord of the underground
Let me
tunnels.
see.
And this is why, in my opinion, they came here and they cut that shaft.
Oh.
And that shaft, is it going to the Great Pyramid or not?
There may yet be work galore ahead for archaeologists. What lies under the Sphinx, where seismographs detected several cavities? Do they harbor further secrets of the earliest origins of civilization?
Yeah, dude.
Were people
Yeah.
initiated here
He's already
into the
balding.
mysteries of what awaits us all? Thousands of years before Christianity,
Well, I don't get it.
ancient
but-
Egypt knew of a last judgment. Man's sins are weighed against what he truly is, the feather of truth, his essence.
They had to speak to it internally in a language that they call the language of divinity, the language of the gods. Now, how do they perceive this language? Well, the cosmos, if they are part of it, then they must communicate with it. They communicate by sensing, by getting messages from the wind, the stars, the moon, the fertility of the land, the birth of their children. This is the language of nature. This is the language of the cosmos. But they began to understand that you could convert, codify this language in a sacred language of symbols. You could symbolize cosmic principles. This is the beginning of sacred writing. This is why writing was invented.
This is why so many
Indeed, they tell us that
schools
the
involve
invention of the sacred writing
Osirians
was
like,
from the gods.
rituals and stuff.
Thought, God with the ibis head, God of knowledge, divine messenger, who taught the magic symbols of writing. It was Thought who initiated Isis into the magic
Thought?
of reincarnation.
That's where that word comes from. So
The
Nice
Frenchman
guy.
Champollion deciphered the hieroglyphs
That's what I
with
mean.
this Rosetta Stone. But did he do justice to the magic of thought? Or are we, with our phonetic alphabet of 26 letters,
dude,
just
I had no
scratching
idea.
the
I named the
surface?
live stream last night.
The Egyptians
Saturday
had a
night
better
live
system.
stream, and
The Egyptians, for one thing,
well, I had an idea.
780
Obviously, I didn't put it together with
letters
the fact
in the
that it was
writings.
Sunday night.
And they studied every single one of them. And each sign, each symbol was charged. So when they conveyed an idea, they chose the right symbol, the right sign. One very good example that we all know is the cross.
Yeah,
The
dude.
cross is a
Dude,
symbol.
that's probably where thought
If
comes
you are
from
not
too.
aware of what it
They
represents,
they
then
just
all you see is a cross. But of course, to a Catholic priest initiated into the cult of Christianity, a cross
haven't been
signifies
sleeping lately. Not a nice guy.
everything about Christianity.
Yeah, I have insomnia.
So rather than think of this as some sort of superstitious mumbo jumbo, the hieroglyphics are the window behind which lies a whole powerful initiatory cult.
In the same sense, Egyptians would make little of this symbol into which every Catholic is initiated. The mystery of Eucharisty. Beauval believes that ancient Egypt spoke in symbols, and that their magic may still speak to us today, even if we fail to understand it. In the centuries after the Pyramid Age, 2500 BC, religious concepts blurred as different gods dominated different epochs. But the Osiris myth withstood the time, even as the name Osiris eventually changed into Serapis.
Temples of Serapis and Isis could be found as far as England, Germany, temples in France.
As from the 1st century AD, the cult spread throughout the Roman Empire to vie for supremacy, with Christianity on the rise.
It's the same gods.
And it
Their
even
children.
influenced Christianity itself.
Within the Christian movement, developed a faction that had absorbed the idea that in order to attain divine state, one had to acquire knowledge through the internal search. This
He's not
very
gonna
much
talk about drinking
came
cum,
from
is
the
he?
ancient Egyptian initiated religion.
Alexandria, Egypt, a place of initiation for adherents of an old faith and a new one. Here, early Christians came to find gnosis, knowledge from the heart through initiation. For that they needed no church, no hierarchy, only to face themselves and meet God.
This, in a sense, represents the underworld, the tenebrous regions where initiates and make contact with the divinities. It is light getting into darkness and finding a
Salami
way
shakedown.
to the afterlife
What's that?
kingdom. The portals of immortality, the portals that led to
Oh,
the afterlife,
it's a game.
to death, and therefore the initiates would be coming down here in absolute black darkness, perhaps with no torches whatsoever, and would come here and imbue the mood of the place, and find themselves in a peculiar position of interface. They were that close, they believed, where one can transit from life, death, and rebirth.
What's all
The people who
about?
came here were early Christians, and yet they were the link between the ancient Egyptian mystery cults and the Gnostic religion. The Gnostic religion is, in a sense,
Screwed Up Rebellion
the
was
ancient
right.
Egyptian mystery cult Christianized.
This is
Here we have
Gnostic.
the resurrection events performed through
I
the
think it's
notification
interesting.
rituals.
I'm
See
not
Anubis over the money.
Gnostic.
Thoth,
I used to be
now called
agnostic.
Hermes, by the
but
Greeks.
I do
Here we
think
are
this stuff
in
is
the
very interesting. And
second
yeah, I
century
mean,
of Christianity. And yet we see early Christians perform the rituals of the ancient Egyptians, presenting the feather of truth, the symbol of truth, to the divinity. And this was a time when Christianity had not yet formulated its iconography or its
You going on a
symbols
walk,
or even
Pat?
its myth.
well,
Christianity shape its
no,
myth?
bundle up, dude.
Of the four
What did you
Gospels,
say?
there's one which has shaped our idea of nativity. Mary is the Holy Mother of a divine child, Jesus, and
It's an honor,
strangely
this will be the
links the
last thing I
story to Egypt.
heard.
The Gospel of Matthew.
Come back to us.
The Matthew Gospel is unique for three things, all related to the nativity story. One, the Magi. They come from the east and they
I was going
follow
to put this
a
on
star.
hold, but
Secondly,
we may have to
the
watch a
Star
little
of the
bit more of
East.
this. This is pretty interesting.
Thirdly, he has the Holy Family escaping to Egypt, the massacre of the infants Herod, and coming to Egypt and taking refuge at Heliopolis.
A Christian church near Heliopolis depicts the Holy Family's escape to Egypt.
And the tradition is so much alive today that when they did this painting, they modeled the tree on the one that supposedly the Holy Family rested. This story appears in only one Gospel, the Gospel of Matthew. Now we know that the Gospel of Matthew was written in the city of Alexandria in Egypt, So what did the writer have in mind?
Beauval believes Matthew developed the icon of the Holy Mother and the divine child to speak to the Egyptians, to whom that icon was more than familiar.
What is the most
got 100
powerful
watching.
icon of ancient Egyptian
Broke 100 people,
religious
guys.
cult
Fuck yeah.
is indeed this goddess Isis holding the divine infant on her lap. They're trying to market a new religion here, a new divine child, to people who have believed for 3 millennia that the divine child was the divine child of Isis. He actually, in a sense, hijacked the stellar myth of Isis and Horus and the star Sirius and grafted it on the Christian mythology.
I don't know about all
There
that.
is yet an even more powerful way that the ancient Christian myth makers injected the Isis myth into their new religion. They made use of a star, the star of the East, the star of Bethlehem. Could this star be the star of Isis, ancient star of divine birth? After 3,000 years, due to the phenomena of precession, the time of rising
All right.
and setting
That's fucking
of
globe.
Sirius changed. At the time of the birth of
That's
Jesus,
still what they show us.
that star would appear at around the time of the winter solstice, not the summer solstice as the ancient Egyptians, around the 25th of December to be precise, just after sunset. Now, we know that the Jews and Christians celebrated the changing of the day at dusk, not at dawn like the ancient Egyptian, at sunset. Therefore, here is the interesting thing.
On the 25th of December, they would see the constellation of Orion rising, and just after sunset, the star Sirius would rise over the horizon. And this was the very same image that the ancient Egyptians had seen for thousands of years to celebrate the birth of the divine child Horus.
So could it be that the star of the Nativity be drawn from an ancient myth and grafted onto the new religion of Christianity?
Everyone has their own
And
opinion,
were
man.
even the 3 magi setting out for the birth star shaped to suit with ancient myth in Egypt?
The constellation of Orion, with the 3 bright stars forming the belt, would rise as if heralding, as if announcing the birth of Sirius. Now, it is only Matthew who mentions the Magi's in his Gospel. Could this explain why the 3 stars in Orion's belts were identified to the 3 Magi's?
It's evident if you study the myth and the history together that those who wrote it saw Isis in the mother of Jesus. And then later on, she developed her own identity as Mary, and the Isis part of her withdrew. But certainly originally it was Isis. These mythic images are alive, and they evolve and change. And so nothing can be static and nothing can be said, that is the way it is for one time and one time only.
I don't know, man. I don't know if demons flee at the name of Osiris or Horus, right? I don't know if I would have prayed to Horus or Osiris to get me through the hardest time in my life. Or try to align with that, right? But like I said, Osiris myth. Everything's up to your own interpretation as well. JC, what'd you send me, dude? Wish I could find some more stuff on the whole inauguration White House ritual, but we got into that a little bit. I think it's safe to say it's I think shit like that happens every day. Is that no one knows about it? It probably happens just as much as it happened in the ancient past, but like, you know, we aren't taught about that shit. We aren't told about it. So unless you become a schizo and go looking for it yourself, you won't find too much on it. What the fuck do I have up? Okay. Let's see what it's in the Grapist chat. Oh yes. All right, guys. What we got here? We're gonna play this. This is great. And that Osiris doc, because it is midnight and I have to get up early to take my son to school. So, in the Osiris doc, I want to finish that. I want to finish the Credo Motwa doc, the interview with him, and I want to finish that fucking Anunnaki thing that we started watching months ago and never finished because the ending's a fucking banger and the music fucks pretty hard, and it's basically like a fallen angel metalocalypse. That would be metalocalypse is kind of full of death and fallen angels, and never saw that when I was a kid. I actually thought it was pretty fucking cool because I grew up listening to Cannibal Corpse. Let's see. Cannibal Corpse amongst many other things. I didn't just like sit there blaring I Come Blood 24/7. Or Fucked with a Knife. They had a lot of great song titles. Oh, man. To be young. Okay, let's pull this up. Very chill vibes tonight, guys. I like the music. It's been a while since we've put the elevator music on. Like I said, I put the show together in 10 minutes. Amen, right.
Excuse me, brothers and sisters, please. If someone could just turn off.
King looked out on his people and saw they were in great need. So he did what all great leaders do. He told them the truth.
Will you ignorant niggas please shut the hell up?
Thanks, Nancy.
He just said what I think he said.
Is this it? This is what I got all those ass whoopings for? I had a dream once. It was a dream that little black boys and little black girls would drink from the river of prosperity, freed from the thirst of oppression. But lo and behold, some 4 decades later, what have I found but a bunch of trifling, shiftless, good-for-nothing niggas? And I know some of you don't want to hear me say that word. It's the ugliest word in the English language.
Is this real footage?
But that's what I see now. Niggas. And you don't want to be a nigga.
Bro.
Because niggas are living contradictions.
You know what?
Niggas are full of unfulfilled ambitions. Niggas wax and wane. Niggas love to complain.
Dude, he wouldn't have even gotten like 20 seconds into his speech before he'd have a fucking like shank in him. Like, the crowd would have rushed him, dude. No impulse control.
Niggas love to hear themselves talk but hate to explain. Niggas love being another man's judge and jury. Niggas procrastinate until it's time to worry. Niggas love to be late. Niggas hate to hurry. Black entertainment television is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Usher, Michael Jackson is not a genre of music. And now
Who else used
I'd
to
like
watch
to talk
BET
about
as a kid?
Soul Plane.
I know I did.
I've
Had Soul Plane
seen
on
what's
DVD.
around the corner. I've seen what's over the horizon. And I promise you, you niggas have nothing to celebrate.
Everybody.
And no, I won't get there with you. I'm going to Canada.
Wow. It's great. That show had some good episodes. It was okay, but all right, guys. Y'all go follow me on Twitter, greypilledpod, Instagram, greypilled_podcast, Rumble, obviously YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave me some good reviews and shit. Also, like the video, subscribe if you haven't, share it with your loved ones. Yeah, guys, Patreon. Go to my Patreon, patreon.com/greypilledpodcast. Got a few tiers, and you can always get in where you fit in. Yeah, and everybody go watch the Subliminal Messenger show on Rumble. He hasn't gone live yet, so I can't raid him. Can I raid him? Has he just start up a stream, bro? Nope. He said he was going live. That's why I figured he would be. But anyway, gotta go to bed soon. Tonight was fun, everybody. Thank you again for coming and hanging out. Okay. All right. Y'all know I'd hang out for longer if I could. But yeah, everybody. Make sure this is on. All right, guys, stay grey-pilled. Love y'all.
Jules, you're the best. Thank you so much for coming on. You really classed up.
Yes, guys, go follow Greypilled Podcast. He's got a great show, by the way.
Great show, cool dude. Go check him out.
Shout out, Jules.
Trying to kill me, Goy.
You handsome faggot.
Have they? Oh, no. There's another timestamp.
Bye-bye. I'm peeking the producer. All right, guys, go check out Grey-Pilled Nephilim shit. That's what he's all about.
Then you have the second fall, that of Azazel and Semyaza, who you also see in the Sumerian stories as well. And Shamash being the sun god, Shamsiel teaching the signs of the sun.
If they're by us, they're the dangerous retards. If they're by you guys, it's the hard army. If they're by the Grey-Pilled Podcast, he calls them the Grapists, which is incredible, honestly. An entire group of schizophrenics that we've
One of the daughters of Enoch was taken by a fallen angel, and that was one of the Babylonian bloodlines where Rothschild came from, the Red Shield or Ra Shield. You know what? I'm not even voting, but I hope Trump wins just so you faggots can cry for another 4 years. You know, Chris was here.
Faggot Nick.
It's the Greypilled Podcast, dropping Jews for Jews on the Greypilled Podcast. Time to school all these fools on the Greypilled Podcast.
Welcome to the Grey-Pilled Podcast.
It's the Nephilim Portal Baby playset. Comes with a fallen angel, Nephilim baby, and portal to another dimension. One of the Paranoid American playsets. Collect them all at paranoidamerican.com.
Disclaimer: these are custom art creations and not toys meant for wimpy little new world order babies. Don't eat the art. Don't sue the artist. For more details, visit paranoidamerican.com.
Look, you're going to have to move fast. Conspiracy cards from Paranoid American are here.
Conspiracy cards, flipping, what's the deal? Conspiracy cards with that paranoid seal. I can unwrap the truth in these stacks. Flip one, flip two, get a few of these packs. Flip it up, what's next? Move fake, we flex. Bigfoot in the woods, stay lying, that's facts. MK Ultra, no cap. Every F-51 is a trap. Roswell crash, what's that? They hide the truth, where's that? Conspiracy cards, flipping, what's the deal? Conspiracy cards with that paranoid seal. I can unwrap the truth in these stacks. Flip one, flip two, get a few of these packs.
That's right. Conspiracy cards from Paranoid American. A set of over 200 cards featuring legendary conspiracy theorists, cult leaders, esoteric secrets, and more. For more details, visit conspiracycards.com today.
See,
welcome to the Grey-Pilled
I'm
Podcast.
slightly autistic. I mean, I'm fucking awkward, you know? I know I'm not like the brightest bulb in the shed. Marduk is the scapegoat. Azazel means the scapegoat.
Wow.
Get the E from the beginning of his name and the L at the end. Put that together, and there's your Saturn deity right there, guys.
Yeah.
Everyone knows about the reptilians and their cavern systems underground that lead to Hollow Earth. And we can talk about that when
Jules knows.
Mr. Hall talks about the teachings of Paracelsus and his many views on the elementals, and I find that fascinating.
You're killing it, Jules, bro.
Red and black, and that's alchemical. In Freemasonry and in all esoteric history schools, the eagle is usually a representation of the original phoenix. Just blew my own mind. Grey pills dropping left and right, man.
3-6 Mafia is the sipping on the scissor, right? They were bringing the hydrocodone
on the hands-free phone.
On the hands-free phone, yeah.
It's the Grey Pill Podcast, dropping jewels for Jews on the Grey Pill Podcast. Time to school all these fools on the Grey Pill Podcast.
Welcome to the Grey-Pilled Podcast.